Hey everyone, welcome back to the Art2Life podcast. I'm really fired up today to be talking to friend and amazing artist, Nino Yuniardi. God, I always mess that up.
Yeah, Yuniardi.
I got it right. Okay.
Yuniardi. Yeah.
Yuniardi. And we're always in touch. Nino has been an artist forever. We went to the same art schools, Art Center College Design, but we didn't know each other back then.
Yeah.
But he's come through the Creative Visionary program in 2018, and it's just been so fun watching him, make this amazing art. He's a contemporary abstract painter, lives in Seattle, I believe, right? You're still in Seattle?
I'm still in Seattle.
Okay. And it's just been so great. So you've never experienced his work. We've got show notes where you can see it. We're going to be making some art today while we're talking, and just get caught up. It's a really his work's incredible, and he's so inspiring. And we have a similar kind of path we're both on in terms of helping people as well as what we're trying to do with art in the world. So thanks for being here, Nino.
Well, thank you, Nick. This is fun. Yeah. It's always fun watching you as well. I see that you are working on big collection for your solo show.
I just finished
awesome.
it. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, that's amazing.
Okay, so why don't I know, for those folks who don't know you and what you're doing and why don't you just give us a little quick background? You be starting in Indonesia, and just give us a quick overview, and then we'll dive into all the updates.
Yeah, sure. I grew up in, like you said, I grew up in Indonesia. I have a sister there, and my family is still there. I moved to Seattle for school, actually for exchange student. Go back.
Yeah.
I was an exchange student in Missouri, of all places. That was my high school years. That was the first time I came to the States, and no expectation, and just want to see what United States like. So after that, moved back to Seattle because I have a cousin at that time in Seattle. So that was basically my base. I always love paintings. I started painting, I think, when I was 14 years old or so. It was a time just for relieving stress. That was the reason I paint. Whenever I had conflict with friends or my family, I go to my room and just paint flowers or paint, landscape or anything, or look at Salvador Dali. Their work is so wacky. I thought, well, that's kind of cool. So I copied them, trying to make something similar, but of course I failed. but the color scheme came through, like really moody type of work, really, and then fast forward from painting on the side as a way of relieving my stress. I always wanted to go to art school. I think since then I just love painting. So I think it's pretty common here. You go to art school and then figure out different menu. I tried fine art, I tried advertising, illustration, graphic design, all those things, except culinary arts. So I tried all of that, and then ended up in graphic design because I can't figure out how do you even make a living as an artist. That's a typical story, I think. And then I didn't have anybody that I can see that, growing up, what you do as an artist.
I mean, already going to the United States from Indonesia as a exchange student, you're in a pretty small group, right? I mean,
well, depends how you see them. Your background is Indonesian.
Yeah.
In Missouri, you're the only one, which is kind of interesting. No complaint there. It was fun.
And you landed in Missouri. I mean,
yeah, but I think partly. Sorry.
What a contrast.
Yeah.
Where did you grow up in Indonesia? I'm just curious.
In Jakarta. So the capital city. Yeah. Capital city, crowded, humid, dynamic. That's
Yeah.
what my friends call it. It's dynamic place. Yeah. But yeah. And then fast forward again, I think after college in Seattle, trying to figure out which art I want to take, and then I went to graphic design. I continue on to art center for graphic and packaging design. So
Oh, wow.
fine art has never been, it's kind of like there, but it's not. I never been to kind of like fine art focus. It's always design. Yeah, so graphic and packaging, and slowly, surely, paint also on the side, just for fun, always.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because you need, that calming.
yeah.
And by the way, you guys, for those of you listening, I hope some of you guys are making art. This is the perfect thing to do while listening to this. Have you ever done a podcast while making art, Nino?
No, this is the first time.
So show us what you're working on.
Okay, this is a postcard. Actually, it's kind of fun little thing. What is this? Four by three, 4 inches by three, something like
It's
that.
4x5 or yeah, four by
Four by
five,
five.
4x6.
Yeah. So it's just postcard that I like to send to uh old friends, or collectors. Just a thank you note type of thing. But yeah, it's doing basically drawing underneath and then paint on top.
And
Pretty
where
simple.
did you get the little template things, the little cards?
These cards,
Yeah.
this is from Amazon.
Wow.
Well,
No, I
um,
love it. But then you put the stamp on the back and you just send it.
that's it. Yeah, yeah. It should be pretty simple.
People must die when they get these original
Uh,
postcards from you.
yeah. All right. Well, no, we'll see. Well, especially I like to keep connected with people who bought my paintings, even just they bought
Yeah.
one, just try to keep connected to them somehow.
I
Um,
love that. Oh,
yeah.
okay. All right. So you could just make postcards while
I'm just gonna make postcards because
okay. All right. Well, we'll keep checking on that.
yeah, we'll see. By the way, yeah, this is the first time I'm like making postcard in podcast, so it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, it's
How that
it's
works.
actually, what I found is that it does your brain can it's really comfortable doing art and talking at the same time.
Mhm.
And I actually became kind of addicted to it, and that's why I started doing this. I just think the conversation is different and it's interesting, and there's this other thing happening, and it's just I
Yeah,
don't know. So okay, so let's what I'm working on is a 12 by 12, my 12 by 12s that I'm just always I got so many of these, and I am I just work on these. I just grabbed one from underneath the table and working on it. So it's acrylic, and they're just fun.
do you always use that as your practice, or is it for more?
Well,
It's the thing.
yeah, I have a practice. They're just play boards, but I sell a lot of these in
Uh-huh.
gallery. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
and all 12 by 12 with frame after that. You frame.
yeah. I have this frame that we make. We actually sell them on the Art2Life store. I'll show you. This is just a sample, but this is the frame, so you can see how this just it's almost like anything you do looks good. So
Yeah,
yeah, they're these little frames, and they all fit the board. So
yeah,
and I don't always do the on these are on wood, um thin, like 1/4 inch,
yeah,
but then I also do stuff on paper, small stuff. One of the things, so okay, so you're in Seattle, and you've got a career going, but doing the art on the side kind of.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
when did you kind of, I know you're still kind of working, you're still doing tech design, right?
I am. Yeah, I can't let
That's
that
so
one
cool.
go. I mean, the struggle still, you
Yeah.
feel like sometimes you want to switch, sometimes you don't. I think it just started, let's say 2017, maybe. That's before I took your
Uh-huh.
Art2Life. 2017, I started to kind of dive in a little bit more into abstraction. Um, and then somehow you found me, or I found you somehow on
Uh-huh.
on the internet. And then, well, this guy's interesting. Let me check it out. Yeah, I can't remember exactly like how I ended up taking your like I think it's like it was an introduction, right?
Oh, it was the free workshop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. The workshop,
Yeah.
and then just go from there, and then figure out maybe I should take it. Um, yeah, and then after taking your class, I think it just opens up a little bit more, saying abstraction is, it just feels natural to me, the abstraction, because I'm not a very kind of planned out person. I'm very organic, and then I think the class give me permission to
Mm,
to be that. Like it's okay to don't have plans,
yes.
especially in your work. But
Yeah, that's the story of my life, which I love. But
yeah,
the thing that I love about you and your work and what you do and how you do it and everything, there's this kind of focus, and it's definitely something in Art2Life and what I'm kind of teaching. It's almost like you're studying well-being through art, You're
uh-huh.
you're using it. You did that as a child, to calm your nervous system, making
Yeah.
art. And you're still doing that, right? I mean, you have that's a that's what you're also trying to achieve with your work, right?
Hmm.
For others, I mean.
Yeah. Um,
Tell us about that, because I think that's kind of amazing.
I try not to make it like a therapist. That's not the thing, but the art itself becomes a therapeutic for me, and I know we hear that a lot too from artists. But for me, it's kind of becoming a daily, not daily, at least a typical thing that I do to stress as a stress reliever. It's always becoming like an air that I need to do it.
Yeah.
It's not because I can sell it or not sell it. It's just about the thing that I make, which is kind of like a weird thing too. Because sometimes when you don't sell something for a little while, you get stressed. But then you have to remind yourself again, it's not about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, just because of that feeling of making art is a necessity, um, and I found the benefit of it, and made
Hmm.
me want to kind of share that to other people. I think I got that from my mom. I don't know if every mom's like this or every parent like this. My mom is like this. If she found anything cool, just mildly cool, she would just send it to me. Even
Really?
though, yeah, I'm not interested. It's just giving it to me. Hey, look at this. Hey, look at this. Basically, but I try to understand why you keep sending me all this stuff. But I think it's just because of she found a joy in whatever she found, right? And then she want her son to feel that same joy in it. Uh,
Yes. That's beautiful.
and then I think it's just as simple as that. And also, I think maybe when you get a little bit older, I'm trying to kind of think about why am I even doing this thing? Is selling art is the end of it? Like, is that it? Uh,
Yeah.
or is that more? So that's when I start kind of looking around. Is sharing what I know, just on Instagram first, is that something that I like to do? I don't even know if I do. And then I'm just trying it out. Um, and then it turns out people are interested. Um, and
And are
then
you sharing what you know about making art, or are you sharing what you know about finding your sort of health and wellness and just enriching your life kind of?
I think about making art first, because the art part is the grounding force to the rest of it.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm not a wellness guru or anything like that. I'm not even art guru. It's just a thing that I do, and trying to share what I found. Again, just like my mom. Hey, look, this thing's cool.
Yeah, that's a great way to
Yeah.
approach it. Yeah.
Try it if you want, but you don't have
Yes.
to. Yeah, but I think it was a double purpose for me whenever I share something on Instagram. It's the first one was it's just part of my flow of making, because I make something, and then, for example, like making postcard like this, I might take a picture and post it, or I make time lapse video. The time lapse video is actually a way for me to look at how I do things, so I can watch it again and see what kind of things that I've done with the piece.
Yeah.
And then the sharing part is more like an extra at that time. When I started, I just share it, and then people like it, good. If people don't like it, that's fine too, But it's always starting from within, kind of. You're not asking for any kind of validation or anything like that. It's more like, hey,
Yeah.
if you want it, then.
Yeah.
But
I love the sort of, here's what I've just learned.
Mhm.
If it's useful for you, use it. If not,
That's okay.
you leave the rest, kind of thing. And
Yeah,
and it's just
exactly.
it's a really great strategy, because it's not like you're promising anything, and
Right,
it's up to the person. So that
right,
kind of helps with taking the stress away from, of the whole thing.
right. I think partly too because I just don't feel I have the authority to teach anything. It's just things that I found useful, and then share it, and that's it. It's part of it becomes kind of like part of my process,
Right, right.
my my practice. Um, so
Yeah, you build it into the practice.
yeah,
That's really cool what you're making there. And for
right.
those of you guys who don't know his work, well, we'll splice some cool images. Tell us about, this. You love the immediacy and the brush stroke and leaving it. Your work has a lot of that, just
Uh-huh.
super fresh and process oriented.
Basically, usually I do drawing underneath first, uh, and then after the drawing, I put paint on top, and then you scrape some of them just to have some kind of accidental reveal, like this one. You can see the drawing underneath, and those are unplanned stuff, which is
Yeah.
that's the fun part. It's unplanned, but yeah. So that's the thing. Um, do you do any scraping?
Well, yeah, I do. And
Yeah,
your way seems really smart. I kind of go back and forth a million times. So like right now, I'll start drawing on this, and
yeah,
then I'll paint back on top of it. But it's just this like ridiculous amount of layering, and but it probably would make
yeah,
sense to do the drawing first. But I'm just too impatient. I'll just start painting, and then I'll draw, then I'll cover stuff up, and then I'll wipe
yeah,
it away. And
yeah. I think that's what I like about your process. It's like, yeah, you just keep layering it and trying it out without. You don't even use eraser. You don't use
no,
eraser. That's how you fix it, by layering things.
yeah,
Which I
I
think,
just it just
yeah,
go on top of the thing that I don't like.
yeah, which is very freeing. I think.
Yeah.
It makes you not overthinking things, because it's just part of this, and then it didn't work, and trying it,
Yeah. Yeah.
here and there. So,
One of
but
the things that you talk about, and I know just because I know you, but you have a really good studio kind of. I mean, you keep your energy pretty high, it seems like, and you're consistent, and you go in. You described your studio as like a gym.
yeah,
Tell us about that, because I mean, I think your work has such a frequency about it. It has such a it's fresh, and I just feel your energy when I look at it. So I know you do something to kind of keep that going. What do you do to kind of keep this practice going?
For me, it's like thinking started from when my daughter was still little, I pretty much have no time to do any studio work. So I started with doing some illustration on my laptop while my daughter is like sleeping next to me. So I can't leave them because so, but I have to make some art, right? But
Huh.
at that time I didn't have any studio time, so it's more like illustration on computer. So
Okay.
I try to do whatever I can with what ever I have, time and also materials. So and then slowly when she's a little older, I can go paint. Then I have a studio up here in my at home, and I start painting here. Even at that time, I still have to split sometimes. So sometimes my daughter needs here, this or that, or my wife needs something. So it's all about stealing time. I don't know if that makes sense, but so because of the need of that, I guess I start to always think about it as it's not because I don't have the time. I just have to find the time.
Right.
Yeah. So instead of this victim thinking, it's more like opportunistic thinking.
Yes.
Oh, that means I only have 15 minutes now because I have to pick up my daughter in 5 minutes. So get it done. 15 minutes here. So it started from that, and it becomes a norm. Like, okay, I only have time 15 minutes to do a postcard. I just do one postcard then for 15 minutes. Or, I have 30 minutes. But that becomes my regimen. It's like, again, it's just like you have a gym at home. And what you do is it's just about incremental practices.
Yes.
And then it's not about like getting it done and make sure it's perfect right now. It's more about like this piece, it's done. My mind's saying it's done for now, but it's not necessarily means it's perfect or I want to ship it. uh Maybe I'll come back tomorrow another 5 minutes to look at it. Maybe I see something different. So it's really kind of
Uh-huh.
fluid journey without giving you a lot of pressure. uh
Right. It's not about completion. It's just, yeah,
yeah.
it's like if you have 15 minutes of a good thing, what are you complaining about? It's 15 minutes of a good thing. It's more than you had before.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's how I started doing um, incremental practice. Um, so I think the most I paint probably about an hour and a half. Not even an hour and a half. I have to stop, kind of take a break.
Yeah, that's right. You
Yeah,
do these like really short intervals. That's so interesting.
yeah.
So do you switch to a new painting, or is that it for the day, an hour?
It depends. Sometimes if I have things that I have to get done, a deadline, then I have multiples. And then when I have multiples like that, I just switch over to a different painting. But it's really I have to just really pay attention to my energy. Like if I'm really not feeling it, I maybe push a little bit, but then I just have to remind myself, oh, you're kind of done for the day. Go
Yeah.
on something else. There's not, tomorrow you might see something different tomorrow. I think that's what makes me not stressed about my work, because I see it as there's another day to do it. Now, of course, if there's a deadline, I have to kind of remind myself that is my process. So I can't do things the last minute. It's not going to work.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
So, yeah, but that's how the gym kind of thinking shows up for me.
You can do so much. Just it's like you build an art practice, you build a momentum, you
Mhm.
you build this thing from nothing. right? And it's kind of incredible. It's like you just do something one day, a little thing, and then the next day that was enjoyable. So you do something else.
Yeah.
And then the next day you do another thing, and then you lose a week, and then you do something. And pretty soon you've kind of got these lines, these strings of things you've made that are all kind of pointing in a direction.
Yeah.
And then you kind of, that's your thing. And then you kind of keep going, and that thing keeps changing. And,
Yeah.
it's kind of amazing.
Like accidentally you make a series out of that because you do it consistently, or you make it like, for example, your 12 by 12, you said you do a lot of those.
Yes.
And I bet you probably don't, oh, I'm going to make 10 this 10 weeks. It's more like,
No,
oh, I like
no.
the 12 by 12. Let me make them, you know, it's like snacking. There's no pressure. You just, you know, uh, yeah, play with those.
And
Yeah.
and we got to go into just for folks listening, Nino's just does this. He's really interested in culinary arts and cooking and all of that. And your titles of all your art is always titled, or often titled, with all the different, with food in mind. Tell us about this, because
Yeah.
I gotta say, when I think of your art, I think of food. So it's working.
Yeah. The food itself, it's actually, it's more of a metaphor. The title usually either a good ingredients that can be combined together, or oftentimes the ingredients that's awkward to be together. So the ingredients are basically a metaphor for people, and it's all, by the way, it comes out because of my experience growing up as a different than anybody else kind of thing, which is not a unique experience, but it was unique for me. Growing up in Jakarta as I would say, as a minority, and then that, I guess that experience kind of like bubble up to me, and that's when I kind of feel like I should tap into that and see how I can make it like my art as a way of healing that part without
Oh,
making it heavy.
interesting.
You know,
Oh,
I don't want to talk about it too much, like, because it's kind of heavy. I want to make it light. Maybe that's why I subconsciously putting it in the kind of fun, light-hearted way in my art, because even the art, the color scheme itself is pretty bright. It's not like really
yeah, yeah.
gloomy color. It's really bright color.
Your paintings are like snacks. They're just delicious.
Thanks.
Growing up, what did that? So the prejudices and, like, can you go into just like what it was like a little bit? I know.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I didn't know that.
Yeah, growing up at that time, if you know a little bit about Indonesia, during that time we were in kind of Suharto as a president, and they're like, I like to blame it on them, but basically saying that Chinese is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Chinese taking all this money from the local, and I'm the person who doesn't look like local Indonesian. It's more like Chinese looking, because my grandparents, I think, came from China, from China to Indonesia. They
Oh,
immigrated a long time ago. So I'm more like a Chinese descent looking person.
oh my
and
God.
in my community, in my neighborhood, most of them they don't look like me. They look like, we call it like local Indonesian, right?
Wow.
And these kids, you know how kids are.
Oh my God.
You get, be mean. So again, this is not like super unique or anything. It's a thing that kids do, and they just make fun of your face, makes fun of
Yeah.
how you walk, make fun how your eyes, and they call you names just for walking. Go through, like, we have this small road from the big road to small, to our house, and me and my sister we take bicycle to school, and they're usually this teenager, I guess, boys who hang out near the intersection because there's like a little shop where people could hang out. And when more than one guy's hanging out, they just make fun of people. Uh, so those things like everyday occurrence thing that
Wow.
there's no rules around it. Like you can't do anything either because they just using words. Unless they do more physical things, but it's pretty close to that. But and then my parents also can't really do anything either. Like just ignore them. That's all we can do. Because we're only like this one house surrounded by all these people who kind of
Oh
like
my God.
don't like Chinese.
Oh my God. Did you, it must have been a rude awakening because probably growing up at a certain age, you were just you and you didn't even, you wouldn't have any knowledge of you looking different. And then to have people highlight that for you, it must have been really crushing. I mean,
Yeah,
awful.
it was pretty rough. I mean, but I went to a school that is a little bit more mixed, like people that look like me a little bit more, and then a mix.
Uh-huh.
So this at school we're okay. I mean, I feel like I'm okay, but still,
Yeah.
whenever you go home, that's where the things kind of like a little wacky. Um, so yeah, that's I think that's those type of thinking is implanted by whoever, you can call it the government or could call it whoever, to say that this type of people is not good for you, this type of people is your people, and they kind of trying to be, try to kind of fight, let them fight kind of thing. So
Yeah.
even in that time of, you know my parents can't use, they have to change names. They have to change their Chinese names.
Oh my
And use the
God.
Chinese name. You have to use Indonesian name to be part of the society. So yeah, it was just not pleasant thing. But now it's totally better. But yeah,
But interesting how I love the workaround, right? Where you take, the symbol, the difference of the food and all the things, that
yeah,
culture, and then you imbue it with new meaning. I mean,
yeah. Yeah, I think partly maybe it's either subconsciously or consciously. I don't like talking about this because it's kind of like a downer, and
well, but
also I
the
don't.
the triumph over it, the what it's done for you and how
Yeah,
it's impacted your life and your art, and that's
yeah,
really, it's always those hard things that,
right.
I mean, you probably were making art more because of this.
Yeah,
Was that the stress? I mean, that surely was part of it.
yeah. I think at that time I don't even know why. Well, I guess I know. Just making something like either landscape or flower or whatever, it made me feel good, and
Yeah.
that's kind of like a workaround
Yes.
dealing with that. And then
Wow.
when you get older, you don't feel that way anymore.
Right. Right.
But still, I think the feeling of that kind of contagious. You want to feel good about that. So yeah, so just keep making that you feel good about
Yeah.
without even considering like the money part. But it's yeah, it becomes a kind of like a daily ritual or practice. Like
Yes. Yes.
now,
Well, it's a commitment to becoming who you're here to become, and it's like,
yeah,
go back in, go back in, go back in, you know,
yeah, but yeah.
that's cool.
So I think yeah. Also, maybe the reason I try to turn it into more like fun kind of twist. Like I don't want to make me feel like a victim. It's more like,
Yeah.
hey, this
Yeah.
happened. Okay, fine. Let's go the other way around. Like it's all right. That happened, and then so
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think if I turn it into more like, oh, that's bad, that happens to me, and that becomes like negative, and then I actually lost.
Right, right, right.
It doesn't help anybody.
Now, do you like cooking?
I do. Yeah, lately, but I used to be like, I don't care, but now I kind of like it. So yeah, sometimes I cook mostly Japanese inspired food. So I look up recipe from the internet, all those things.
Uh-huh.
Um, Also sometimes I do barbecue. Yeah, but it's casual though. It's not like super crazy. Um, like Indonesian food. Indonesian food usually is pretty evolved because you have a lot of um, ingredients in there. It takes a lot of time to prep, like different spices and all that stuff. So I tend to not go that way because it's taking too much time.
Yeah,
Uh,
right, right.
yeah, yeah. How about you? Do you cook?
I do. I love cooking. And
Yeah.
I haven't had a kitchen for 10 months. I just got one because we kind of
Oh,
renovated.
renovating. Okay,
It took
that's
it took
fun.
10 months, and literally just like 4 days ago, we're starting to have a kitchen again.
Nice.
And so you're eating out a lot,
Yeah.
and boy, that's just not the best. I mean, it sounds kind of glamorous, but it's really not so good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not good for the wallet too, huh?
Yeah, no, exactly.
But
But
oh,
no, I love cooking, and I see it, it just this additional, like we're working with color and it's visual, and I listen to music a lot, and I love these senses, right? Like what we're making, and we're
yeah.
refining our ability to choose. But the
Uh,
one area that I haven't spent a lot of time in, right, is taste. And it's the same
oh,
exact thing that you can balance,
yeah.
you can use differences. So yeah,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And I love it because I don't know it so well. And I'm
Mm.
just, yeah. I was going to go to chef school
Yeah.
right when COVID hit. I had signed up, and
You did? Do you have
yeah,
time for
yeah,
that?
I was really wanting, I got so into it.
Okay.
And but then it was COVID, and we couldn't,
You
I
can
didn't want to
go.
wear a mask, and they
Yeah.
tried to do it, but it was very like you had to do it separately, and
Oh,
so I didn't end up doing it. But
where where was this in
it was the San
San
Francisco
Francisco?
Cooking School.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And then that's basically cooking anything or what?
Yeah, well, it was like if you wanted to become a chef. So it
That's
wasn't
where
the
you go.
baking, it wasn't so much pastry and stuff, but it was everything else, you
Oh,
know.
okay.
And
That's cool.
I just find it, really fascinating and interesting. And
Yeah,
it would have been hard. It was a big commitment of time.
I bet.
And I wasn't doing it to become a chef per se. It was just an area of the culinary art area that just, it's still, it's like I just want to experience it. I just love
Yeah,
it.
that's cool.
And
Yeah.
I was definitely, one of the only people that was not interested in becoming a chef. People go to chef school so they can open a restaurant, and
Yeah.
um, and I'm so,
It's
but
it, yeah, that's cool.
yeah.
I mean, just interesting to see like how chef lives is like. I mean, I don't know any chef like very close, but if I watch a show about chef, it's kind of interesting how tough the world is. Like, you have to stand in the kitchen for what, how many hours?
Right.
And then for some practices like sushi master, you have to start from the bottom as I don't know what they call it, but it's you start from just cleaning the thing or cut the thing for a year or something like that before you continue on to be a sushi chef. Um, I just thought that practice kind of like interesting in how I see that, bring that into our, in my art, saying that you can look at it that way, because although we don't have like ranks or anything in my art practice, but it's, you got to start somewhere to practice to be like the chef, the chef
Yeah.
of your art. Yeah, it's just something that I always trying to remind myself, like, you have to put the hours, you have to put the practice, like,
Right.
to be good at something. Just because it's intuitive or whatever we call this, making abstract art, some people might think about it as that's an easy thing to do, but actually, just like making food, it takes some kind of practice. Um, so I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting to need to talk about culinary art.
What I love about it, and I love nature, right? And there's this, there's this kind of connection between, going to the farmer's market, seeing all these raw ingredients,
Uh-huh.
and then you bring them into this kitchen and you dump them out. And then
Yeah.
when you learn and you know how to put all these ingredients together and the spices and how to balance it, right? Like, you don't need a recipe once you get kind of the basic idea, but then
Uh-huh.
you can start being really creative and combining things
Yeah.
based on, just like how we're using color right now. It's like, once
Yeah.
you understand what makes a color look rich,
Uh-huh.
or flavor stand out, or the flavor you want to have come forward,
Right.
you can balance the salty with the sour, and
Yeah.
all of that, and
Yeah.
where it's physically on your tongue, like it's
Huh.
so interesting, and yeah, all the different flavors. And but then you've got nature, and there's like, these are the strawberries, or these are the chestnuts, or these are the things that are, so there's this kind of the natural world
Yeah.
thing going on that you get to interact with. Like, cauliflower right now this is it. This week it's incredible, and let's
Yeah.
buy a bunch of this and do something with it, because this is
Uh-huh.
the season where I live. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
It just is very grounding.
Yeah, sometimes for me, like, I guess when you go to culinary arts, they gonna teach you how to understand all those ingredients, right? I
Yeah.
don't know exactly, but yeah, because in the past I tried to do a lot of those, experiment mixing ingredients, and usually I fail. It's just like, uh, not exactly know how to mix them. Uh,
Right. Right. Well, it's just like, if, oh my God, this painting's getting too mono gray or too washed out. What do I do?
right?
How do
Yeah.
I escape that? And
Yeah.
so it's just the same. I mean, there was one in this class I took, we made this pea soup,
Uh-huh.
and we had to shell all these peas, and which took a long time. And but this soup, it was so good, but the color of this green color, I mean, I'll never forget it. It was such for me. I mean, I think at the time, it was a long time ago, I wrote a podcast, a vlog about it and everything, because I
Uh-huh.
just loved this color. And it was the combination of, I mean, taste was amazing. Making it was kind of cool.
Uh-huh.
And then the color was just so beautiful. So it's kind of got a lot of the things that, I'm into all in one place. Plus, it's got the sit down and eat the food part.
Yeah, you can eat it.
Yeah, but I mean, with other people, like,
Uh-huh.
that's my
Okay.
other
Yeah.
favorite thing. I mean, there's no
Uh-huh.
part of that. Like, I love going to farmers markets. I love learning about what's growing,
Uh-huh.
and I love tasting things. And then I like not knowing and then buying stuff and then trying to figure out how to turn
How
those
to do
things
that.
into something.
Yeah.
And then you turn those things into something, and then you have people come over and you all sit
You
down and
eat it.
talk and eat that thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just in talking about it. I'm thinking I'm needing to do this more, but we
Cool.
digress here. But it's really baked into your work. No pun intended.
Uh-huh.
I mean, your paintings have that. I mean, they're balanced in the same way that a, you know, a dish is balanced. You know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, strong, bold, dark. You know,
Yeah. Well, what are you gonna eat today then?
ah,
Do you cook every day?
I cook. Well, no, I haven't been for 10 months, but I do cook. I'm
Yeah, me
cooking
too.
again now. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah. So I have a whole bunch of sole that I bought, so that's what we're going to do tonight. But um,
Okay.
how old are your kids now?
One is 18, going to art center.
No
Oh
way.
no way! I know, crazy. So yeah, I'm gonna drive down there end of the month. Oh no, yeah, at the end of the month probably.
Oh my God. Is she
And
graduating? Is she
August.
graduating?
Well, she's graduating from high school.
Oh, okay. So she's just
She's going.
starting.
She's going there. Yeah, she's going to do just like you do, illustration.
Oh my
I
God.
haven't shown her your your stuff yet, but you know, yeah, yeah. See, we were, yeah, debating between California or New York. She wants to try New York, but then she also like she's thinking more of animation, character development type of work. So we thought, well, maybe the industry is more suited in California, more like, Pixar or Disney type of uh, production. So that's why she chose California. Um, but yeah, and then I
Wow.
have 11-year-old as well.
Oh
Uh,
my God.
yeah, 11 and 18. So yeah, it's I don't know. It's
Both
bittersweet.
both my daughters, they're always doing art stuff, although they don't work in those industries, but
Okay.
they can do a mean Father's Day card. Let me tell you.
Okay. And how old are they?
28 and 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they're not doing any art related things.
Well, they do a lot of art, but they do, but it's not for their job.
Yeah.
So it's kind
Yeah.
of a little like what you do, but not as much as you do for sure.
Oh, okay. You mean in
So
design or in tech?
no, they're in, Lila works for the New York Times,
Oh, okay.
yeah. And Hannah works for a nonprofit up
Okay.
in, Sonoma County, California. So those pens you're using, I'm just curious, is that what you draw with on the larger canvases?
This pen?
Yeah.
No, no. For larger canvases, I use Posca.
Oh, you
Posca pen.
do?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Posca or Montana. Have you heard that before? Let's see, Montana.
Well, Montana makes a spray paint, don't they?
They do, yeah. But also they have a like refillable acrylic paint. So this is Montana refillable. But this is the refillable thing. But I'm trying to find my markers. It's not here. But um
So what does that do? Like, does that make a line?
yeah, yeah, just like marker, but the tip of the marker is varied. You have this pretty wide one, they have a smaller one, they have a thin one. So just a different things, but this is just a refill of it. A refill.
Oh, I see.
Like
Wow.
like like ink, you know. Um so yeah, I use that in yeah, and then Posca, definitely things that I use too.
And
Um,
and then the paint is all acrylic, right?
yeah, the paints are acrylic. I just use different things, mostly like Lucas paint, like it's Lucas liquid.
Huh.
Uh,
I've never even heard of that.
yeah,
Lupus paint?
Lucas.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, this is from where is this from? It says made in England.
Oh,
So
really? Okay.
yeah, anyway.
And do you like the color of it? I mean, or the quality or something? Because
Yeah, I like
my
the color of it. So they have different colors, and that I kind of like as a starting point. It's easier to start with different
wow, this is
colors.
great. I'm doing a thing in Paris in September and I need a whole bunch of paint and I need to source some good paint in Europe and I didn't
Okay.
know, but that's
Oh,
perfect. And it's kind of it's more liquidy consistency.
they have both. They have they call liquid, this one, and they also the studio, which is basically a little thicker. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I think this one, the liquid one, similar to what you have, the Art2Life paint,
Uh-huh.
about that consistency.
Oh, really?
Liquid one.
Can you squeeze a little bit of that out just so I can see what it
Yeah.
looks like? I just want to see the consistency.
Let's see.
Oh, it's not a squeeze bottle, huh?
What it is, I
Oh,
never
okay.
got
Oh,
the
you never
tip
opened it. Okay.
because I was just lazy. I don't want.
And you guys, we'll put some links to this in the show notes for Posca pens and Lucas paint.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Okay.
let's
Yeah,
see.
that's pretty. So you don't need to add water to that. You can just use a brush right on it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Wow, thank you. So what are you excited about? What's coming up for you? Do you have any more shows or what you opened that little like gallery space?
Yeah. Um, yeah, so I still have that. So basically that's like my studio. Oh, it's a two floor. So the top floor becomes my studio. I work there from time to time, and the bottom floor is kind of like a gallery space. So I put my work there if there's no other show going on. I put my work there, so that becomes like my show. Like this month's my show. Next month will be another person that rent the space as well for others to use if they want to, so they can do like a solo show if they want to, or a group show. They put together a group show.
Ah, that's so amazing.
Yeah. So
You're like a
so
gallery owner.
kind of, yeah, but not really. I don't operate like a gallery. It's more like a studio space and like a show space where other artists can curate their own show. I'm gonna try a different model. That's the thing that I'm trying to figure out. Like, I have this space, and what should I do with it? That's the thing that kind of keeps me up at night, trying to figure that out. Because I tried the gallery model type of thing. It's not like, I don't feel like that's for me. I still like making art on, most of them. I just want to make art, but I feel like that the space is a good spot for artists who, especially those who like don't have representation maybe from other galleries, or even
Uh-huh.
if they do, they can do that too. It's a good spot, good location, and we have this monthly art walk with a lot of people coming in and out because the area is basically one of the oldest gallery area in Seattle. So people
Wow.
know to go to art walk every first Thursday of the month, and so a lot of people. Not that saying a lot of people equal sales, but at least people start seeing your work that way. And selling art is not like
Yeah.
immediate, right? It's takes
Yeah.
some time. It's a space for people to see you,
Yeah.
to know you. So
In this space, have you sold work? Have people come in off the street? Has it worked for you? I mean,
this smaller pieces like 12 by 12, 24 by 24, like
okay.
off the street. Like people don't know me, right?
Wow.
Uh, but it's slow moving though. For if you rely on that, most people who bought my work usually they follow me for a while on Instagram. That's how you get it. It's not. It's rarely, especially the big one. They just don't. Um, a visitor come in and say, "I want to buy that."
Yeah.
Especially the big ones. You gotta have to think about it. Bring your spouse, take a look at it. You like it or not, kind of thing. Takes a lot longer to do. But having that space definitely like opens up my eyes a little bit more. Just asking. what do you want to do with the art, with your practice, and also you have the space. What do you want to do with it that could help other artists, especially locally? Like, what do you want to do with that? Like, if they,
Yeah.
you can help elevate that a little bit more as a community as well. Like, so I collaborate with other artists locally who has
Oh,
similar
that's great.
space. It's kind of like a I don't know. It's going on in San Francisco or your area as well. But basically, we still have empty spots in the city, empty
Storefronts.
offices,
Yeah.
storefronts, those kind of things. So the city and nonprofit organization trying to figure out how to revive the city. So
Yeah.
we have a couple of spaces like that, um, and basically, to help both the owner of the space or also small business owners to figure out to try different ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Um,
Because is that where you're working right now?
no, this is at home, a
Oh,
studio.
okay.
Uh, I also like this space because I don't have to go anywhere. It's easy. I can just go and do whatever, and then
Yeah. Go to dinner. You go back and forth easy.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
like that. Because again, the reason I want to paint too is because I want my free time. I don't want to get stuck somewhere.
Right. And so what do you do outside of your art to like kind of re-inspire yourself?
I don't know. I don't. I just
You just make
I like
art.
yeah. Well, yeah. But other than that, right? I do some gardening sometimes,
Uh-huh.
and a little bit of cooking. Um, watch Netflix.
Okay.
Play with my kids. That's about it.
Yeah.
We're kind of like a family who like stay indoors.
Really?
It's funny that how there's a little bit of shame in that word, but
Because
no,
Seattle's
it's
all
like
about like hiking and
right,
biking, you
right.
know?
I know, like everybody, mountain and hiking and all that stuff. That's true. I used to do that a lot though. I used to do hiking and stuff, but um, not anymore. We kind of like a little bit slow down on that. You do hiking a lot though, right? You walk.
I run. I do a lot
Yeah.
of running still. Yeah.
Yeah,
Still running. But we live in this area that's just so amazing,
that's good.
for that.
Yeah. How long do you usually like when you run? Like how
If I'm meeting we go out for an hour to 3 hours,
that's a long run, no?
yeah, I mean it's
Uh,
it's it's sort of slow and steady and stopping and
we have a lot of like hiking area here and water and all that stuff.
yeah.
I love going to the lake though. I mean, not for exercise or anything. It's more like maybe just hang out next to the lake, eat something. I love water,
Yeah, me too.
the view of the water. That's one of my dream.
To do what?
Um, to have a studio or a house. I have it on my board. Like have a water view. Doesn't have to
Oh
be next
yeah.
to the
Yeah.
water. Maybe next to the water. I don't know. I don't know. Something's about looking at the water. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
No, I'm
Maybe
the same way. But your work has this water quality to it. It makes total sense to me.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I miss that. I miss the
Yeah, well, Indonesia is just it's all about water. It's surrounded.
right.
Yeah.
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 And yeah, and city, but water definitely.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, how's your 12 by 12 going?
Oh, here, I'll show you.
What'd you call that?
I don't know, but
Do you usually have title or later on?
later, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks a lot, it's not as garish. Well, whatever. I don't know what yeah. Yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
it's funny how much contrast it picks up.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
How's your series for the next show going? How many pieces are you making?
I'm all done. The show is on the 27th
Okay.
of July.
Yeah.
That's a Saturday opening. I think it's 5:30 to 6:30 or 5:30 to 7, and in Park City at Julie Nestor Gallery. So I finished all the work. I made 17 paintings.
Nice.
Yeah. And a lot of them are really pretty, there's 6-foot paintings, 7-foot paintings in there. So,
Okay. That's
yeah.
good. How do you decide on the size? I'm going to make big ones versus, all the different.
I have I have these boards, these sizes that I've made work, right? So I make the paintings on canvas and then I take the canvas off the panel and then I ship it. So right now I have all those sizes still up in my studio. So I'll just make another 6-foot by 6-foot painting. It's more like, what do I feel like, if I want to do a large one, but if I'm going to do a show, I'll do a whole bunch of sizes, but I like working large,
Well, that's fun. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
It was fun. I gotta say, it was probably the most fun I've had making art in a long time. It was easy and it went quickly, sort of. I wasn't burnt out, so that was such a win. How large do you work?
I think the largest one I've done 90 by 60, something like that. Yeah, that's the largest one.
Yeah.
And then when I do that large, I have to do it at the gallery. This one doesn't fit. But yeah, it's good. It just always the issue with larger paintings like that is storage, right? If it doesn't fit, maybe you can roll it, but other than that,
totally.
Framed. Yeah.
So you don't have any your gallery, you're with some galleries, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm gallery in Seattle, like in Kirkland, which is like city next door. And then in one of the island, also the one that's out of state is in South Carolina.
Okay.
So basically those three galleries.
Okay. And so do you have any shows coming up in any of those if people want to see your work, or what's the best place for people to see your work? Just the website or your Instagram? We'll put those in the show notes.
Exactly. Instagram is basically the channel for me.
Okay.
Yeah, but I pretty much have another show is when is that? August, September.
Okay.
September, I have the show at a gallery here in Seattle, my gallery.
Awesome.
I don't know if you call that a show because it's my own gallery.
I think I'm
showing my own thing.
I think you do. I think you do.
But I don't know if this is a flaw or is it a good thing. Maybe both. I try to not to make too big of a deal of any things that I do. Like, it's a show. It's just a show for this month. It's
Yeah, right. It's kind of like your paintings. That's how you're doing it.
Maybe it's maybe it's the defense mechanism to not,
Yeah.
If you don't make it a big deal, then you're not gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
But,
well, listen, Nino, we're gonna wrap it up here, but this is so fun, and I really enjoyed. Can you hold up real quick the card, that one you were working on? I just want to see how that one turned out.
Yeah, sure.
Or you guys can just flip your screen so we can see it, or hold it up. I just want to see.
I have multiple
Oh yeah.
I want.
All these people are gonna get these. It's so cool.
This one's a little bit watery, but
yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So it's a quick type of 10 minutes type of thing, and also it's like a way for me to practice finding new shapes.
Yes.
Experimenting with different things, and but yeah. But
wow.
That's a lot to talk about, Nick. I feel like there's still more to talk about.
I know, and it's probably true.
That's the thing.
Yeah. Well, it's just great to catch up, and
Yeah.
we'll put all your info in the show notes. And again, thanks. Thanks. It's always so fun.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me. Next time I'll invite you, right?
Okay,
To go
sounds good.
do a
And
show.
if I get up to Seattle, I know I almost did. I've got to go up to Eugene, Oregon, so maybe there's a Seattle
Okay.
jump from
Yeah.
there.
Please let me know if you stop by. Would love to
Okay.
catch up here.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Nino. Thanks so
Cool.
much.
Thank you.